A WWE star is frustrated with current creative. Plus, AEW stars comment on fan criticism, and scrapped Raw plans have been revealed. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Andrew would love this one.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yes, he would, yes.
He's cross.
He's carrying cross.
He's cross. He's carrying cross. He's cross. He's carrying cross. He's cross. Oh, is he cross?
Now, I feel a little bit for carrying cross here, despite us just going,
We feel for you. La, 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 la.
We hear a lot of stories regarding wrestlers often being unhappy with creative, but we hear them after the fact quite a lot, don't we? But rarely do we get an insight into what it's like while this is all sort of going on. So it's quite interesting to hear what Karrion Kross was saying to Josh Martinez of Z100 New York.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
Oh, fantastic.
Z100 New York.
Is it quite an iconic radio station?
Oh my gosh, the birth of the Zoo format was in Z100. Sorry, I'm distracting from the main story.
He was speaking to them and spoke about his current WWE position and was very candid about it, saying, this is probably unhealthy and I shouldn't say it, but I'm just going to say it. I actually get really peed off because it's not enough. I haven't reached my full potential yet and people haven't seen my best work yet. I know what I can do, and at this level you need to be afforded certain types of opportunities, which is difficult with a big roster and only 2 hours of the program. I know that once I'm afforded that particular shot to demonstrate what I can really do, people are going to be blown away.
Yeah, I think there's been a few who have come back into the WWE system and have kind of been given that label as underperforming.
I know. And there was even reports that Triple H felt that they were underperforming as well.
There was, yeah.
Do you think that's a bit unfair?
I don't know, because I'm intrigued as to what the grand plan was with bringing Karrion Kross back. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be back. I'm just like, well, where did you see him fitting into the mix here?
Yeah.
Because he sort of came back in a weird sort of segment with... on the way to Clash at the Castle.
He was feuding with Drew, but Drew already had a feud, and he kind of... It immediately, he wasn't set up very easily, was he? Because it immediately felt like he was intruding. And the fans were like, well, no, we want to see Drew and Roman. What are you doing? Yeah.
And Karrion Kross, like the Killer Kross / Karrion Kross are two very different styles of characters. Like with Killer Kross, you kind of had that sort of well-dressed sort of hitman type person. Karrion Kross is a bit spooky and dark and demonic, and you kind of got this weird hodgepodge of both right now, whereby it's weird, spooky, demonic imagery and presentation, but yet like he wears a suit and jeans and looks like a normal guy, and I don't know which you choose one lane.
I fully sympathize with him, I think, here, because yes, on one hand you could say that what he's done has been underwhelming, but as you've mentioned, where did they expected him to fit in here? He seems to have done everything that was asked of him, and I feel like they pulled the plug on what he's doing quite quickly. Like the Mysterio feud seems to be over now, or nearing its end, when nothing ever really happened.
And again, because very much similar to the situation with Drew McIntyre, who was feuding with Roman Reigns, Karrion Kross is feuding with Ray, but Ray, I think, is injured again, and also he's still feuding with Dominic Mysterio. Like that's still rumbling on. So he's just like he's a bit lost in the shuffle there. If they'd done like a clean break and had Ray and Karrion feuding and not crossed the lines with the Judgment Day for a while, then I think that would have been fine.
Matthew often mentions it on the podcast, the way that he was booked in NXT. He seems to have had quite an unfortunate streak. I mean, we obviously all remember the horrendous attire he was made to wear on Raw during the last days of the Vince McMahon regime. But even on NXT, when he was the champion, he still had people like Pete Dunne and Finn Balor coming out and saying, yeah, you're the champion, but you're actually rubbish. Like, on the mic, they'd go, you're not like workers like us. Is essentially what they were saying. You're not, you know, an indie elite level style super worker. That's what was being implied there, and I don't really know what the aim of that was.
And then he beat up William Regal, and then Samoa Joe came out of retirement, semi-retirement, and stepped up to him. So we thought, okay, this is great. Karrion Kross is going to get a big win over someone of the caliber of Joe, and this is going to kind of set things straight. Oh no, Joe beats him. Right.
It's very bizarre.
Okay.
It's another example of the very tenuous or ever-changing relationship between a wrestler and the perception that those fans have of that wrestler.
Yeah.
We've also got a similar story about that from AEW, Tom.
Oh, look at that. Amazing. Now, Austin Gunn in conversation with Busted Open Radio. This comes after their shocking win a week this time last week.
It shocked the office, Tom. Fraser Porter's the biggest Acclaimed fan in the world, and he couldn't believe it when the Gun Club beat the Acclaimed to win those AEW Tag Team Championships. And I think it's an interesting result because it's sparked a lot of debate, hasn't it? And I think there's points on both sides. Should they have won? Well, they're quite a few levels lower than the Acclaimed in terms of popularity. But on the other hand, has it had the desired effect? The fact that everyone's gone, oh no, that's what they want, I suppose.
To be fair, it's all William Washington from Fightful's fault.
Oh, really?
Because he was the one last week going, I think the Guns should beat the Acclaimed. I think they will beat the Acclaimed, as a matter of fact. And then they did. Will, you monster!
Well, if I ever open a furnace, then I want you to stoke those. You're the chief. You're the
I thought
chief
you were like,
furnace.
if I ever open a furnace, I'm going to throw you in.
No. I want him to stoke the fires. If I am ever the owner operator of an old-fashioned steam engine, then you're my head engineer.
You are.
Stoke the. Both the Guns.
All right, Reverend W. Audrey, writer of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, so dull.
Let's talk about the Guns. So on Busted Up Radio,
I think both of them were speaking to. Oh yeah, Austin first. Sorry. Yeah,
it was Austin. Well, Austin did the main bit.
Okay.
So Austin said, "We're sick of not being handed or given our flowers. Colton has been in this business for 2 years. Every time we step out of that curtain, everybody on Twitter is like, the Guns are boring. I can't get behind them. Oh my gosh, they're not even good at wrestling. Every time we go out there, I can't even hear Colton over Ass Boy chants.
Boys.
And the way that we have them in, and the way we have them in the palm of our hand. So when that 1, 2, 3 happens, and Bowens didn't kick out, everybody, I look over, the crowd, everybody is like, oh my God, my favorite tag team. No, not the Acclaimed. Oh no. That's the best moment. I can't even sleep. Still think about it.
That's so good. I can't even sleep. It's such a good moment.
Lay there at night staring at the ceiling.
Now, obviously, part of that's in character, but I would suggest that part of it isn't in character as well. Where I think there probably is a real frustration with fans. Maybe your idea of what's a good heel doesn't align with what the fans' ideas of a good heel does, and maybe there's been a lot of talk about how the Guns are actually good heels because they're one of the only examples of a heel in the AEW roster not cool or liked in some way. You've got like Samoa Joe, who everybody loves. You've got MJF, who everybody finds funny at times and who everyone acknowledges is really good at what he does. Gun Club don't care about any of that. They just go out there, and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter are now faces, basically. Like, you've got all these cool bad guys who act good or are cool, and the Gun Club don't care about any of that, and they're just there to ruin our days. And I think that's refreshing in a way.
Yeah, there is something quite nice about that. And I think, as I've said a few times in these videos, that they've been the butt of the jokes for so long. They deserved something.
Yes.
They deserved something, and I think a tag title reign is perfectly fine.
I think so as well. And if you look at the storyline, I think they're in the right. Billy Gunn, their dad left them for some cooler boys.
Yeah, why are we booing that?
No. Why he pushed them on?
Why are we funding this?
He pushed them onto cement and their bums got cold. That was a weird segment, that one. I'm glad they've won the belts. Yeah.
Talking of cool segments, I am buzzing about this. So if you're old enough and ugly enough to remember WrestleMania going Hollywood for the first time, where we had Undertaker doing Dirty Harry, we had Eddie Guerrero, rest his soul, and Booker T doing Pulp Fiction. We had John Cena and JBL doing A Few Good Men. We had Dave Bautista doing a bit of Taxi Driver, and then he, go on to be the best actor of them all.
Yeah.
And Steve Austin did Gladiator.
Yeah.
I remember that one. They're doing it again!
Apparently
They're doing it again!
There's been reports of these vignettes or these special little segments being filmed where wrestlers are parodying bits from famous movies. And WrestleVotes on Twitter has claimed, and WrestleVotes have been right about stuff in the past, to be fair, they've claimed that they were told the list of the planned WrestleMania Goes Hollywood movie trailers. Now, one of these in particular, though, makes me think, is this true? Well, I'll talk about
one of these things is not like the other,
right. Right. So, are you going to list them?
You list them.
So first we've got, and then you can give a little reaction on each one if you think it's good.
Sounds good.
Miz and Maurice, Top Gun.
Well, it's a hot film at the moment. I think they'd have some fun with that prospect.
I think that's a good casting decision. Yes. Right. This is the odd one out. Rhea Ripley / The Judgment Day. Stranger Things.
I think that's not the odd one. I think that's fantastic.
Oh no, because Stranger Things is a series.
Yeah, but if we can't play silly really buggers over a great prospect.
No, that's not the one that you.
No.
Okay, I see which one now. I've looked down the list.
I think Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day doing a parody of Stranger Things is brilliant.
But it's not.
Oh
Hollywood.
my God, that's going to be amazing.
It's not it will. I think it would be good, but for me, it's just.
Is
not
it because
Hollywood.
you've gone? They're not all films.
That's right. That's exactly why. That's exactly why I've done that.
Well, that's not the one I got issue with.
Is this the next one, perchance?
It might be the next
one. The Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre. Now, there's many films you think of when you think of Drew McIntyre and the Brawling Brutes. Fight Club, Gangs of New York, any film with fighting in it, with brawling. Not the 40-year-old virgin.
I mean, I don't know the 40-year-old virgin. Well, before you start, no, I'm 39. Shut up. I don't know much about the film and any iconic scenes per se.
I can think of one that might make sense.
Okay, which will feature those lads. It's also quite an old film compared. I mean, there's one in there which is older, but it's iconic, so you can forgive that. This one kind of feels like a strange. That one feels like a strange choice. The 40-year-old virgin.
Hey now.
I feel like hey now.
No,
this is what dreams are made of.
There's a famous scene where Steve Carell, playing the titular virgin, gets his chest waxed because his friends are teaching him how to become more appealing to the ladies. Mm-hmm. And he gets his chest waxed. And I think in the scene, he's actually getting his chest waxed for real.
Right.
And his screams of pain are shoot. And I think that that could be because Drew's got a hairy chest. Maybe they'd do that.
My chest is being ripped.
I'll be interested if these are true. That's the one I'm interested in seeing which direction they go with it. Becky and Seth Rollins. I think this one works perfectly. Batman and Joker.
Yeah, that's cool.
Seth's the Joker, Becky's Batman.
Could they recreate the Killing Joke, one of the best Batman cartoons ever, where he takes a picture with a special camera and paralyzes Batgirl? Just a thought. Bit dark that. As I was saying it then, I realised that's quite dark that.
I think maybe they'll
do that.
I think they'll just have Becky going like, I'm the man, I'm the Batman.
Yeah,
and then Seth's going like,
I'm the Joker.
Maybe he does the scene where he walks out the hospital dressed as a nurse and it blows up.
I reckon they might just cross the streams and just have Seth Rollins walking down that staircase, like from the movie The Joker.
Jackie Orlando upstairs, or Jack Atkins upstairs.
The rambunctious Jackie Orlando.
I think it was his own idea. He suggested that if they're going to do the Joker walking down the stairs, they should have Clown Asuka do that. And I was like, that would be so. It would look awesome.
It would look cool.
And finally, the Bloodline doing Goodfellas.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Roman Reigns and Joe Pesci, two men who are obviously very similar. On the podcast last week, I was compared to Joe Pesci a lot by Matthew. He reckons I look like Joe Pesci. Oh. I was wearing a black hat. And in Home Alone, he wears the black hat, obviously. But Matthew was like, it's not just the hat, it's your face as well.
Was Matt all right last week?
Nothing against Joe Pesci, obviously, but in Home Alone, he was a far older man than I am now. That's just very sad.
Of all the actors I think you look like.
Not Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci's not really there.
5'10" in shoes.
You can't teach that.
Yeah, you can't. Goodfellas, Bloodline, great. Yeah,
that's a great.
Sorry for derailing the. I'm still a bit hurt by it. Yeah, because it was Matthew. You can tell when he's being genuine as well. Because you go to like he'd stop and go.
He has this adorable laugh when it's a real laugh.
It wasn't adorable at the time.
My cultaholic husband has a lovely laugh.
I was fuming.
I'll have a word with him over dinner later.
And then apparently Pachi's the other one out of Home Alone. So I'm Marv and he's the taller one. And all the while it was on as well, Joel's just pulling up pictures in the background.
Joel doing the Lord's work there.
Matthew's going.
I've been hit by a paint can. This has been a long news video. We'll end on this then.
Sorry.
So, no, don't be sorry. I've had a lovely time. So Monday Night Raw, some scrap plans. Fightful Select doing some digging on this. And they reported that WWE brought a ton of props for a backstage Valentine's themed segment that didn't end up happening.
That is a shame, and it reminds me of Keenan and Kel. You know the end of Keenan and Kel, where Keenan would go and get this, that, this, and this, and meet me at the thingy, and blah, blah.
Oh, yeah!
And then he'd walk off, and Kel would go, oh, here it goes, and Now that's what this reminds me. Triple H going. Who's the second? Bruce Pritchard going, Bruce, get me 15 boxes of chocolates and a million roses and meet me at the...
meet me outside Kathy Kelly's locker room.
Paul!
Come on!
Paul.
Brucey!
Paul! Oh, Bruce Pritchard. He says his own name. Oh, Bruce.
And instead of the shop, it's just a studio, and it's a podcasting studio, and Conrad Thompson works behind the counter. This has been a trip of a video. Thanks for joining us on it. It's been a lovely time.
Keep you laughing in the afternoon.
Twitch.tv/Cultaholic tonight for football.
Yeah, Football Manager. It's the end of season awards. We've been promoted to the Premier League, and what better way to celebrate than by dishing out some end of season awards for Goal of the Season, Player of the Season, Unsung Hero, and the all-important £5 Ken Award. You can all vote for that because we do polls for each one. So that's twitch.tv/Cultaholic at 6 p.m. UK time. What about you, Tom?
Just more wrestling news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.